So we're just 2 login days away from having our first 7 days in AFK Journey done. Well, at least for most of us. And one thing that we really need to talk about is the one event in game called Journey's Gift. This is the one where we're getting 10 summons a day, we get the face skin, and most importantly, we get a select hero chest on the very last day. However, what hero are you guys supposed to pick? Well, let's talk about that and all the different options. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. We're actually getting really high up on the sub count. We're almost up to 10,000 already. We're already over 9,000. So keep the support up. I appreciate it. And let's get going. You probably don't need me to tell you this, but if we come over to the little events icon on the right hand side, the first thing you guys see is the Journey's Gift, and it's actually the first event you even get to see visually when you start a new account. It's great because it gives you a total of 60 free summons over the first week, which is awesome. But what we're talking about here today is this day 7 hero selection chest. You get to choose one out of these 4 heroes to pick for your account. Now, it might not sound like that difficult a decision, but there are some nuances based on who you have on your wish list and what heroes you are building, as well if you're a spender. So let's start with that. Number 1, if you are a spender, you've probably already got the one biggest free thing. You can't see it anymore, but on your first purchase in game, they literally give you a single Rowan copy. So that kind of takes him out of the necessity of getting a copy of. Now, why do we say that? Well, because if you come on over to the Mystical House, essentially what you should be doing is paying attention to what heroes are in the arena store. You can see right here, Rowan is in here, so you should be able to grind one copy of these out pretty much every week. Ish, somewhere in that ballpark, which shouldn't be too bad. You can also get Cessia copies as well, which is important, and you can get Brutus copies, which is important. These are the main 3 that you want to be focusing on from the arena store. Beyond that, you can always get other heroes after you're done with them. It does refresh, so you can get more than just the 2 copies. That's really important, because one thing I want to mention, and it's not something I'm personally doing, but is probably something better for you to do as an average player. Once you get your first Brutus copy, I take him off the Mauler wish list. I just basically remove him. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be taking Kruger off here as well and going for Coco. So that is a good pickup too. Some things you want to do. You just need to make sure you hit the save button. Don't make the mistake like I have. But this is the same situation. Up here too, in reality, once you have Rowan, a couple copies of him as well, you can change him out to someone like Cassidy, which can be a really good mage hero for your team. It really just comes down to personal preference on what you want. However, because you're getting a free copy, technically, you don't need to leave Rowan on here too much. You're not going to use Rowan in every single game mode. He is very strong in the early game, but again, remember, if you are going to spend any amount of money on monthly cards, anything like that, you're already going to get a single copy of him. Same thing with Brutus. If you've already got your Brutus copy from your summons, or you're just going to wait and buy his first copy from Arena, it's really, really good. Mainly because you don't need a ton of Brutus copies to make him useful on your account. Most of the time, you're just getting Brutus and putting him alongside your other tank. If you're coming up against a wave where they're just completely one-shotting your Thorin, your Entandra, whoever you're building as a main tank, he's here as a warrior, not a tank role, but he tanks because the first time he receives his fatal blow, he is going to be immune to all damage. It buys you time to get your ultimates off, especially if you have a Rowan on your team too. His ultimate, of course, will give tons of energy to heroes, which might give them healing, like for Smokey to keep your main tank alive. It might give your Cessia energy for her to summon her big monstrosity and CC the entire enemy team. So that is an option too. If you haven't put Brutus on your main banner, you could grab your first copy here. Now, onto the niche heroes. Now, I know a lot of people have already been loving Igor, mainly because of how they experience him in the normal story mode. Igor is probably one of the most annoying heroes to try to kill when it comes to the story mode or AFK dungeons, aka anytime he's on the enemy team, because he just jumps from gravestone to gravestone. It's hard, especially if you're a melee heavy team, to keep following him around. And meanwhile, he assassinates your healer, he assassinates your range damage dealer, and then he starts picking off other heroes even when he's the last hero on the battlefield. Still feels weird that Igor is a warrior, but just note he's not a rogue. You would think he'd be a rogue, but he isn't. He can be a fun hero, but I wouldn't prioritize him too much, because overall he can be an okay hero. But again, it's one of those situations where Igor kind of needs more investment to make him good. And let's be honest, Igor is absolutely horrible when it comes to Dream Realm, and you guys know how much weight we put behind our decisions when it comes to Dream Realm. He is S+ if he is completely built up. He is a very good PvP hero. However, besides that, I'd say he does kind of fall off. So just keep that in mind for Igor. He can be a fun hero. Yeah, same thing with Aaron here. So Aaron is another situation where he's not a great damage dealer in places like Dream Realm. He's not good as a single hero copy really either. He is, again, a hero you're going to want to wail on and heavily invest, because he literally becomes one of the best PvP heroes in the game and one of the late game campaign story carry heroes. His ultimate, the fact that he can just group people together, and once he gets his other stuff unlocked, it's just absolutely crazy, because he'll cast his ultimate immediately when the battle starts and not consume any energy. So that's why a lot of people say he is really good. However, if you're not heavily investing in him, getting him to Supreme, he really lacks that punch, because that ultimate in the beginning of the battle is really what makes him so good. Now, I know I just gave you a ton of information, and you're like, Barry, I just need you to tell me what hero to pick. If I had to tell you who to pick as a completely free-to-play player, limited summons, I would probably say getting a Rowan copy is your safest bet. He's going to be the hero that you're going to use the most. Getting him up to like Mythic is very important for your team. It's just really, really important to get that going. Getting him some additional healing and stuff out on your team can be really, really good. If you already have a Rowan up to a certain high level, make sure you have at least one Brutus copy on your account. But I will say, I want to reiterate, Igor can be good. Aaron can be good, but these are typically heroes whales go after, because they really, really get good when they get Supreme and higher with their exclusive weapon and all that fun stuff. So safest bet, I'm going to say, is the Rowan copy. So let me know what you guys think about this advice. If you disagree, leave a comment down below. I love having a conversation with you guys, especially seeing other people's opinions based on their own personal experience in game. And that's the only way we learn, is to have people who have tried all these heroes and have critiques and advice for everybody out there. So leave a comment down below, join the conversation. We'll talk about a lot of things in the future. And again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all the support. We've literally gained like 1,500 subscribers this first week. If you haven't done it just yet, consider hitting that subscribe button. We'll be having some giveaways coming up here pretty soon. I'll see you guys next time.